We're back with episode 8 of America to Korea. We're continuing the vocal evaluations, and so you guys know last week we saw KG, Kendall, Kaylee, and Melissa, and it was kind of like okay, lukewarm, some were good, some were okay. They weren't actually that bad, in my opinion, but we start off pretty much right away, and we get into Gina. Now, Gina, if you guys know, JYP considered her pretty much perfect at her audition, but lately he was saying that her vocal maybe not as good because it's lacking in with regard to her dance, relating to her dance, and maybe lacking in expression and improv. And so uh, it's interesting because he asked her a question about her ability, and she was talking about how she would take that feedback, and he seemed worried about the way she reflected on his feedback because it's almost like she didn't understand what he was saying, and then later on he asked if she felt pressure, and then she apparently does feel some kind of pressure because she's a JYP trainee. And so I guess I need to check off one of these boxes. Early fave under pressure. This is very helpful. But anyways, continuing with her evaluation, she gets to dancing or singing, and I feel like she was okay in the lower, but in the upper, or at least her attempt at it, she was kind of feeling a bit off, and she choked out. But the foundation for her voice is actually there, and I guess we could chalk it up to her having some preliminary training at JYP, and so she would she would know how to sing with her natural voice, and she would know. I mean, it's only been 11 months for her, so it's not like she trained for a long time. And I don't know how much personal work has to go into that, and how much hand holding goes on into the training. But after she finished singing, JYP kind of had this nervous laughter, which I thought was funny. But he said it was better than her dance regarding flexibility, and I feel like he wasn't hard enough on her. I feel like she did make some mistakes and she had some issues, and that compared to I feel like the last time we saw her singing, it was kind of flawed. But it seems like he was only interested in the emotions this time around, and he gave her a stone. Uh, and so she's the first in this episode to get a stone. The next one up is Savannah. Now, Savannah, they finally showed her audition vocals, and it actually was not very good. Uh, Her rap was significantly better, and when she said that she was gonna sing "Easy on Me," JYP actually had a wince. Like he actually he found it like he was worried because he knows that her voice wasn't that good, and I thought that was funny. Uh, but when she did finally start singing, she actually started off pretty good, and you could tell that her ceiling wasn't that high after like the first few lines. But I was actually feeling the performance, and for me, it takes me back to 20 years ago when I was a judge at my first singing competition with that was giving out awards and stuff. When I was judging this one guy, he wasn't singing that great, but he had a lot of emotion, and so it kind of took me back to like thinking about that. And JYP, I feel like he's looking for something similar there. Uh, but in this case, he wasn't really like judging her on that. He was thinking about her in a technical level. But I feel like she actually improved based on what they showed for the vocal. And so JYP, he didn't really give her feedback right away. He actually rolled over to the piano and then made her test herself out on one key higher and then two key higher at the original like song key, and then she seemed to be able to do it. And then so he's like, he says that she can be a great singer with good breathing and belief in herself, but he didn't give her a stone. And I would say that that's actually a foul because he keeps talking about potential and improvement as the metric, and and then it's kind of like inconsistent with regards to like the singing versus the dancing, and then versus like one trainee to the next trainee, and you kind of wonder like what specifically is he looking for, if not improvement and self motivated improvement at that. I felt like Savannah should have gotten a vocal stone here. It seemed a little bit unfair. And then, like, with Gina, he was a little bit soft on her as well. Like, he didn't criticize anything that we could see. And so there's, like, There's something off. There's something off, and if I have one superpower, it's a superpower I've always had is that I stick around long enough to watch people for their consistency, and then I see when they're inconsistent, and it's like on a logical, like mathematical level, I can see how they are inconsistent, and I feel like they are being kind of inconsistent, and maybe what they're favoring is something that uh, is ineffable. It's something culturally ingrained. I mentioned this in the last episode that maybe there's like cultural biases or something. But yeah, there's something not quite the criteria given to them for why they might receive a stone or not. I feel like it's inconsistent. It feels like it's given on a whim. But anyways, after that we get into kind of like this weird section where we have rapid fire of people getting rejected for their stones, which is Misha, who she had an issue with forgetting her lyrics, but the singing was also too short. But I don't feel like her singing was that bad. And then Yuna, her singing was not good at all. Christina, her singing was also kind of not good, which is surprising to me because I feel like she did kind of like she wasn't great in her audition, but she wasn't this bad during her audition. And the same goes for Lexi, who also came up, and she kind of sang like someone who didn't know how to sing, which is very different as well from her audition. Her audition was not that bad, and so we had four rapid fire, very poor vocal displays, and it wasn't just like that they. It wasn't just that these four were bad compared to the girls who were good at singing, but they were like really bad just compared to being able to show a minimum baseline ability to actually like sing. And so I was like wondering, like, do these guys not get any training at all here? I guess they had to be self starters and they had to figure it out on their own in order to get rewarded. And so far, it's looking really badly for Misha and really bad for Yuna. And there's me saying this, and I was like, Yuna's someone who kind of has to be in the group. But if she can't have a baseline lower ability, which I feel like everyone has, I feel like everyone, if they learn to sing in their normal speaking voice, and I feel like everyone can learn to sing, she should be able to do this. But I guess she didn't have the right resources or mentors to tell her how to sing. I'm kind of curious why they didn't receive any minimal level of training at all. They really just got feedback from the audition and they were supposed to figure it out. And then Lexi had that decline, and that was worrisome as well. Uh, but Lexi and Christina were some of the strongest dancers. Hopefully, they get a chance to develop uh, their abilities. But Yuna and Misha losing out twice. This is like 50%. If they don't make drastic transformations in the last the last finale, and also personality stuff, I feel like they're in danger now. And then the last trainee that we get to see is Camilla. Now I already think that Camilla's going to be okay because apparently she was on The Voice in Canada. So if she, actually I don't know if she did well. Did she just audition or did she get put through? I mean, I don't know. But if you get put through, you're coached by a coach. So uh, who knows? Maybe she just auditioned. Maybe that was the extent of it. So I don't want to. I guess I shouldn't be making assumptions. But she did sing during her audition, and she wasn't confident. Did a falsetto, but he had her try again, and turns out she could do it. And then we basically get like a mini kind of uh, couple of short videos about her practicing her vocal uh, on her own, being a self starter, a personal self training person, and so she did that, and in the behind the scenes here, and she also figured out how to interpret the song, and so that's when she started singing. I felt like she had a really good start. The only thing I would say is that she looked a little bit uncomfortable to start with, but then she soon got really into it. And by the end of the song, I felt like this is very good for a live, and obviously I expected her to do well, but then who knows? Maybe I assumed a little bit about how well she did in The Voice. But JYP, he was actually surprised by her growth and he loved it, and he gave her a stone. Now, I think that one of the reasons JYP might have really liked this performance was that this is like Whitney during her 80s time, and if JYP and I have very similar tastes in one thing, it's got to be that we love things from the time of the New Jack Swing with Teddy Riley. This is like Bobby Brown uh, and like Whitney's time. This is like Michael Jackson during like his time with Thriller and everything, and remember the time when he sang that song. And so JYP, he did that song "Switch to Me," which is basically it was Bobby Brown's like every little uh, what is it? Every little step I take, or, or every little step, and then also there's also that Ghostbusters Part Two song, and I feel like it was like a amalgam of those two songs. So I feel like he would be like way more into it because she's singing this song. So that's Whitney before she became kind of more diva-esque, I think. And then after that, she was praised. He gave upgrades in behind the scenes with his secret judges. They He gave one to Kaylee, and then they were considering giving one to Savannah, but then they didn't give one to Savannah. And I figured they would give it to Kaylee because, uh, I mean, I guess her voice is there, where Savannah. Uh, well, I think he should have given one to Savannah though, but I knew that he would give one to Kaylee. And then they ranked them, and it was only 6 people. So Camilla came first, Melissa was second. I feel like Melissa was a little bit more flawless than Camilla, just slightly. But and then KG, I felt like KG was better than Melissa as well. And so I would say like the top three for me is reversed. But other than that, I feel like I agree with the top six. We have Gina in fourth, Kendall in fifth, Kaylee in sixth, but then Camilla, Melissa, and KG in one, two, three. And then that's basically it for the vocal evaluations. Next week is talent show. I look forward to that because the talent show is where the funny stuff kind of happens, and we get to see more of their personality. Who will benefit more from the talent show is probably Kendall, because like as I said since the first episode, Kendall, she suffers from the issue of she's receiving praise from people who are in the same room with her and can connect with her. But people at home, they haven't seen her personality yet, so there is a lack of connection there. And then some of the other ones who may be more stiff, like maybe Christina or KG, they need to kind of really show their personality and kind of show them more down to earth. And so hopefully we get to see that. And I feel like we will. I don't want to spoil anything here, but other than that, let's look at the roster. So we got Kaylee and Gina both having vocal and dance stones. We have Camilla and KG both having vocal and dance. And then Kendall also having a vocal and dance stone. And so the list is very short. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was really only 6 people. 5 people who have both stones. I feel like there should have been more, but I guess there wasn't. So yeah, that seems like. Did I edit? Yeah, I did. So yeah, this if they're gonna make a group out of Kaylee, Gina, Kendall, KG, and Camilla, I guess that's fine. But it seems a little bit unbalanced. I feel like you need a little bit more. If you're gonna do one in America, you're gonna need a little bit more diversity in there, right? I feel like you got to put a Savannah in there or a Christina, and I feel like Yuna might be lacking from there, but we have to see how Yuna does. And then Lexi also, I feel like I don't know why she did so poorly in the vocal, but she might need another chance. But looks like a lot of people are gonna fall off. The one I'm worried about the most is probably Misha and Yuna because they don't have any stones yet, and so it's very likely that they may not make it. And then with regards to Melissa, she's kind of been made possibly obsolete by Camilla. If she's gonna not make up for that with the dancing and personality and stuff, and there's a concern that she may be a little bit lukewarm sometimes with regards to like just being kind of a non-starter, like non-motivated. So I guess this is the bottom right three are the deadly corner, the people who most likely will suffer some kind of loss first before anyone else. But yeah, I guess that's it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. I'm kind of all over the place right now. I actually missed this episode. I missed it live. I was like an hour and a half late. And so usually I watch it live. And like I also actually record it live, just in case. But anyways, if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. And I'll see you in the next video.